Hi guys, we're still on $100 million list by Alex Hormozi. Today we're talking about cold outreach using ads, right? If you're trying to reach out to cold leads and you want to do one action to meet up to multiple people, your next option could be ads, right? Ads, yeah, for cold audience. Like he tells a story, a very interesting story about how he got started into this whole ads game because he used to work at a gym, and then the guy who owns the gym did not believe that ads work. So Alex Omozi gave him a trial, and boom, it worked. And before you know it, sometime later down the line, whatever he created there was responsible for generating $1.5 billion in revenue. Right? Absolute, insane. So he says that this, when you want to reach out to cold people, right, and you don't have all of that time, but you have money, you should consider running ads, because ads on any platform that allow ads, allow you to trade your money for their people's attention, people's eyes, and people's earballs. That's what he called them, not me. He called them eyeballs and earballs, or balls. So then he also says something along the lines of there are four problems, right, that people face when it comes to running ads. It's one, what platform should they use to run these ads? How do they get people to listen to them? How do they get people to trust them? And then how do you even get people how do you allow people to give you that permission to contact them at all? So this is a section that I want to like break down properly. So I'm going to be doing multiple videos on this topic, not just before I actually read the entire chapter and break it down. But now I'm going to read this in bits, make sure I get that bit, and then move on. So the first one that says is the first problem, which is what platforms should I use, right? It says that fine. The platform is super important because it should be very, very useless to run ads that are targeting to run paid ads that are targeting the wrong set of people, right? And it says if you want to if you want to look for where to run your ads first, you should use this look for these four criteria, which is one, pick a platform that you're already receiving massive value from. So if you're receiving from YouTube, pick YouTube, but you know that the other means is that you're going to be majorly focused on video-based ads. If you're used to Instagram, used to Facebook, pick a platform that you've gotten value from and you're very familiar with. Two is that the platform should be a platform where you can target the people who are your ideal clients. So if you are dealing with professionals, you have a better chance on LinkedIn than you have on Instagram, right? And then three is you should know the kind of ads that run on those platforms. Is it banner ads? Is it video-based ads? Is it Instagram stories? Is it little banners and everything? And the fourth one is you should have the minimum amount for you to run ads on those platforms. Some platforms have different prices. I think either Twitter or LinkedIn has $20 a day. I think Facebook is about $1-ish per day minimum. So if you have distilled it to the platform that you want to run it on, and from there you start. But if you do not know, if you're still confused on the platform to use, right? Because I cannot believe that sometimes we get stuck in life because you're confused. What you should do if you're confused at this stage is look for the platform that your competitor is already using and use it regardless. Yes, they're a competitor. Yes, you're copying them. And that reminds me, because a lot of people look down on imitation or copying others. You can copy others if you don't know what you are doing. But as soon as you figure some things out, which would eventually happen, then you can branch into your own stuff. So never I hear people say things like, oh, don't compare yourself to others. You can compare yourself to others if you don't know where you are going. Why? Because it gives you a point of reference, right? Imagine somebody who is 40, living with his parents, is 40, living with his parents, no job, and wants to get married. He wants a traditional wife who he will take care of. That's a whole lot of game. I don't look down on anyone, but you get my point. We compare ourselves to others to get a point of reference. But if you know where you are going to, that comparison will be completely invalid, because somebody who is training to be an MMA fighter cannot be comparing himself with somebody who is a bodybuilder. Those are two completely separate journeys. So, like I said, then the second problem, which is how do I get the right people to see it, right? Because imagine you're spending money on ads and your ads are going to people who do not care about your product or who are a wrong fit for your product, that's wasted money. And one thing he says is that just like cold calling, like if you're calling people on a one-to-one basis, you have to use volumes to compensate for what ability and quality leads. So in this case now is you're not competing for volumes anymore, you are competing for efficiency. Efficiency is what you're competing on. And to be very, very honest, he also said something along the lines of people believe that ads are scalable. Yes, they are scalable. Yes, they are profitable. But there's a catch. Because you can start with a small amount. For every dollar you put in, you get maybe $1,000 back. That's like 1,000% return, right? Good. Then you put in $100,000. Your return might end up being about $300,000 or $400,000. That is 400% return, no longer 1,000. So your goal right now is to find that efficiency on how you can maximize more for your dollar spent. So in terms of creativity, headline, your goal is for efficiency. So back to the second problem, which is how do you get the right people to see it? So there are two approaches, right? Two approaches. And this is why I think he's asking us to, in his whole book, he's asking us to get leads using all of the approaches, right? Because he says your first approach is you should target people who look like the people that you want to sell to. So in marketing, is this idea of look-alike audience, right? Or look-alike targets. What that means is you have a list of targets that or a list of existing customers. At the same time, you also have a list of customers who you are trying to reach, right? If you bring these people into a list, right, and put them onto a platform, the platform can analyze. It's like all of those recommendation engines, right? You go onto YouTube, you watch a certain kind of video, and before you know it, YouTube begins to recommend similar videos to you, right? Because it's studying your behavior, whether you like it or not. So same thing with ads. If you put those phone numbers there, just to track who the people are and understand how they think, what is different about them, then after figuring it out, you now try to draw up correlation and send those your adverts to people who look, act, think, and move like these guys you're referring to, which is the audience you already have that you have uploaded to this platform. Mind you, almost all platforms who have this feature, they almost always have a minimum requirement, which is, I think, also platform is about 1,000. If you get 1,000 of your existing customers with their phone numbers and their contact information, something that the platform can use to uniquely identify them, then it will help you to fetch these guys. Then if you don't have people at all, right? If you don't have enough people for your look-alike audience, another approach you can use, right, is to target people based on demographics, their age, their location, where they stay, their interests. That would also give you an idea into getting clients. So for example, is you have no look-alike audience, right? You can target people in fitness. You can target people who like fitness. You can target people between the age of 25 to 65. And speaking about targets, he has this approach where he says that his goal is first, involve everybody in his outreach, right? Then begin to filter people out based on criteria. So for example, he wants to run an ad for the entire world. Then he removes people who do not speak English, because people who do not speak English are waste of it's a complete disaster. It's a complete disaster for people who do not speak English. Because 99% chance that the person who sees an ad not in his language will flip past that ad or just completely waste the time. So he says something along the lines of, what you should do is, if you're going to do ads, is try possible best to get all your leads in one place, and then go for paid ads. But mind you, paid ads, which he's referring to, could be anything, any platform, banner ads, like I said, story ads, any ad that works. But bring your leads together, upload them to these platforms, and tell them to generate look-alike and create your ads. Then from there, they begin to target people who are similar to you, right? Then the next problem is, okay, fine. If after getting their attention, what should you say? Yep, which is asking the question of, okay, what should your ads do for you to sell, for you to give you returns? And he has this idea called the cocktail party effect, right? Because when you run an ad, people would want to know that that ad was built for them. That ad solves their problem. So it gives multiple steps. This is where I stopped in the book because, like I said, I want to sit down, sit down and properly digest this part very well, because something I said I want to do, and there's a way I want to try it, right? It's experimental. I have not seen it anywhere, where I frame my product, right, to meet not my target audience. I have a target audience, but I want the ad to be efficient. So the creativity of the ad, which is super important. It says in your ad, right, you need to look at the headline, the message, the creativity, and then the call to action, right? So now, the headline, which it says is the most important thing, because, like I said, people read the headlines and they instantly know whether it's for them or for not. So I'm looking at a situation where my product is a little bit, is very generic, right? I'm thinking of framing it for each industry and targeting people in that industry. That is framing it sector, industry. I think people may have done this, but I don't know. I'm just experimenting with it, and I hope the experiment works in my favor. But I'll document everything in my channel, so you can always come back for it. So it says that one thing you should look at is three things, which is one, the call out. You have to call people out. That is the people you're trying to sell your stuff to. This is where I'm going to end my video though. People you're trying to sell your stuff to, call them out, let them know that whatever they're about to watch is speaking to them. To the value. What is it that you're going to tell them after you get their attention, right? And three, the call to action. After seeing your advert, what do you want them to do? And it's always best to limit all your call to actions to one. Just one thing. So, like I said, this is where I'm going to stop. And it's going to be like a multi-part kind of video where I'm explaining everything. And then, because of my schedule has changed, it's going to be a different ball game moving on. Mind you, if you notice that my skin is kind of like whitish, I just got back from like a very long swim, a very, very long one with my guys, and then later in the afternoon, I have some blisters in my feet from MMA. So I'll be going for MMA training. These blisters I have to tear. Yeah. They said that they told me to be expecting blisters, which I'm already seeing right now on my feet. It's kind of irritating right now, though, but it is what it is. So I think I've touched every bullet point I had on my list. Yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in. I think when I'm done with the $100 million leads, I'll be breaking down. I think this book will be, I'll be done with it in about a week. Yeah, about 7 days, because I'm reading them in bits. I'm no longer reading them in chapters, so I can pick it out and make it much more smaller for you to consume and for me to understand. I see people who take books and they try their possible best to finish the book as fast as possible. No, I use books like, yes, I've gone past the point where I was just reading for, I call it mental entertainment, but now I'm reading for practicality. I'm reading based on the level of goals I want to achieve and the current state of my journey. So if you're enjoying the journey, please let me know in the comment section. Yeah, that's not the call to action though. My call to action is, can they share this video with somebody who you know is going to find it of great value? Because I'm documenting my journey, I'm doing the real thing, and I don't know who this might help. This might take an idea from here, or the person you share this video with might take one idea from here, and boom, before you know it, his business is skyrocketing. Oh, and by the way, that reminds me, ads, regarding ads. When you do ads, your competitor can see the ads that you are running, and trust me, that is not in your favor. Oh, so I'm not bothered, because after thinking it twice, I don't care about my competition. I care about them. But what I mean, I don't care is we have two different paths in life. And you should only compare yourself to somebody who you know is heading down the same path as you and who you feel is going after exactly what you're going after. But in my case, it's different. We are building a community. We are building a community which I believe is the future of marketing, or is the basis of marketing, community building. And that community that everybody should be valuable to everybody. So in a situation where if you have a service, you can link you up with potential customers in that group, in that community, and everybody comes together to share their insights. Because, like I said, that I believe is the future of marketing. There's always been marketing, right? But making this community an obvious thing is what I think is what will give me the edge of my people against my competitors. So my competitors can have this community, I have my community, and we can't compete for communities because it makes no sense. So and then two, lastly is just this morning. So recently, right, I gave the content team an assignment to give me their goals. and tell me what they have planned for the company. They gave me a list of goals which I feel like they looked very conservative. So I want to multiply it by 10. Why I'm multiplying it by 10 is because I kind of realized that whenever you set a very big goal, a goal you're afraid of, but at the same time excited by, it will force you to think of ideas. It will force you to think on a different level as what you're thinking of versus what you're thinking of at a lower level. One, two is I'm also considering, because it's a tech company, quite all right. I'm also considering a situation where we start an educational section, a business educational section of the company, right? Where we are creating courses, lead magnets. So it's almost like we're going to bring a couple of business people together, right? Educate them in business, how to make their business more efficient, then create a technology ecosystem around them. What that means is that whoever we're creating this thing for is enough for us to break even. So anything we are doing, and if you feel like you have ideas you want to share with the team, please go ahead. You can hit me up in the comment section. I have somebody on YouTube here who hits me up on Twitter. That's why I drop my Twitter links or my links to my other social media in the comment section. Thank you very much for tuning in. Talk to you soon. And please share the video.